Good Monday morning, all you lotheads. Man, tough weekend for the Sandlots. If you're just waking up, you're waking up really early. It's 5 a.m. I'm getting a late start this morning, but that's okay. It's just taking a minute to get over the lost Friday. Yep, there it is. If you haven't heard, you are listening to The Wrap with Dez. I am your host, Dez. Yeah, that's me on a Monday morning. And if you haven't heard your Sandlots, we're not able to pull out the W Friday night. But that's okay, because I've got my W energy drink to get me going to fill that hole, that big black hole that L left in my heart. Excuse me. But yeah, your heroes, man. They fell into some kryptonite Friday night, and not only that, they just man, I don't know. It was a weird night. Just telling from my perspective, my point of view, coming in Wednesday night, not having Bruce there. Not that was a major factor or anything, but it just I don't know. It was a weird feeling, man. I can't quite explain it. But we're going to get into it here. Man, I just hope you're ready for it. I don't know if I am. So you're listening to The Wrap with Dez. And this is where Sandlots baseball meets brutal honesty, sarcastic charm, and a touch of, hey, we tried our best. That's all we have sometimes. But all right, all you lot heads, let's go ahead and break it down real quick, and I'll let you know what's coming up in this show. It is Monday morning, and I know it's hard to get up, and especially if you're a fan of the Sandlots or a Sandlots player, more particularly because, man, these days it's taken me a whole weekend plus a Monday just to recover from the soreness, the achy joints. And, hey, man, if we can get a sponsor for some, like, Icy Hot or something like that, that'd be great. We're the walking poster children for that, man. But yeah, so Friday night, man, at the Rock, it felt like less of a Friday night and more like a long, awkward group therapy session, man. It was just, it's very uncomfortable sitting in the dugout sometimes. Like I said, it was just a strange feeling. But the Sandlots fell hard, 10-2 to the Yotes and Stros in a game that had the sizzle, man, of a wet sparkler on a human night, you know. Seriously, I've seen more fireworks at a toddler's birthday party. There just wasn't much pop in the lineup. No booms, no bangs, no thunder. It was one of those games where even the foul ball sounded tired. Excuse me. And yes, we were limping from the jump. Manager Raspberry on an island somewhere in the Caribbean, probably sipping some old cold brews while, we're just out here sweating on the bases and hitting bad hops. Landon Loggins, second straight week out of the lineup. At this point, he's gone longer than most streaming free trials. So it was up to the rest of us to hold the line and bless them, bless us. We tried. Derek Surley was out there MacGyvering the lineup with duct tape and dog tags. He had his hands full. Anthony Hare took the mound, got the start, and normally as steady as they come. But Friday night just wasn't his night. The zone was tight. Actually, it was all over the place. It wasn't very tight. It was just all over the place. And the contact was loud, man. And the Yotes were just ready to party. And yours truly, yeah, me, Dez Valdez. I came in to mop things up, but instead of mopping things up, it was more like I kicked a bucket over and spilled more water on the floor. Hard hits, loud barrels, basically batting practice for the Yotes. But in the middle of the mess, Tim Green came in, and he came in late, slammed the door, and tried to keep us in the game. And he did it with style, man. And it looked good up there, just peppering that catcher's mitt, man. The guy was electric, 3 up, 3 down stuff, and just gave us something to cheer about when most of the crowd was already heading to the parking lot. Now, offensively, you want to talk about bright spots? Jeff Nyberg, man. Guy's just a base hit vending machine. Punch in the number, 3-2, 3, 3-1, whatever it was. Just punch it in. He's reliable, smooth, man. It's just good for a knock when the rest of us were out here guessing. I don't know what his secret sauce for the night was. News is he hasn't made any the workouts with Steven Terrell on Thursday nights, where he had been, pretty attending pretty every week basically, and just getting better. And you know what? That hard work showed up Friday night, man. He was just a laser, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But hats off to Jeff. And it wasn't just him, shout out to Steve Gardner, Eric Olson, and a few others who put together, a heroic effort at the plate. Even DT Crimes hit the ball hard, but things just weren't happening. We're trying to jumpstart the offense, grind out at-bats, and just make something happen. Just like, we tried to do last week, putting the ball in play, just wasn't happening. And the problem was those efforts just weren't enough to add much more to the measly 2 runs that we scratched across. We had runners, we had chances, but when it came time for that one big swing, the one that lights a fire under the dugout, it just wasn't there. Meanwhile, the Yotes, they're out here swinging like it's a home run derby qualifiers. Every mistake we made, they turned into an extra base hit, and every ball in the gap felt like a punch in the gut, man. But here's the truth. We're still alive. We're still dangerous. We're still hungry. And it's not over. We'll shake this one off. We'll regroup, reload, and, next time we won't just be looking for sparks. We'll be looking for the flamethrower. And it's on our bag, baby. It's coming. Don't you worry. It is coming up. And, sometimes it just takes one of these L's. And, well, you know what? It was tough. It's the Yotes, and we know that we can beat them. And it was a hard one to swallow. I'll tell you that. All right. I'll tell you what. Since it's Monday morning, we got some good stuff on tap for you. A little lighthearted stuff. After we get through this little game recap real quick, we're gonna just kind of go on to the lighter side of sports. Happy Gilmore part 2 came out, I believe Friday maybe, or over the weekend, and I was pretty excited for that. So we'll get to my thoughts on the premiere of Happy Gilmore 2 here later in the show. Gonna try to keep it to a tight 30 minutes for you guys this morning, but you know how we go here. I like to run my mouth, but it's my show, so we're gonna do what I want to do. And so here we got some good stuff coming up. We'll get to that. We'll get to players of the game. Hard to find in a loss, but there were some moments of sparkle. All right. And after that, we'll get to just a standings recap, and we'll talk a little bit about the stretch run, just because the schedule is going to get really crucial for the lots. So let's get into it. But before we do, I just want to let you know that Tire Store Service Center, man, they're a great sponsor of our team, great people to work with. And I was there Friday. I don't know if y'all caught the little reel I shot while I was there, but you'll get a chance to see it here later in this show. So stand by for that. But don't let your ride blow a gasket like our bullpen did. Head to Tire Store Service Center, where the only rubber they leave on the road is by design. Whether it's rotation, alignment, or flat out an emergency, tell them the Sandlots sent you. And roll smooth, not shaky. Tire Store Service Center. We service, we don't sell. All right, here we go. Let's get into this deal here. All right. So, yeah. Friday night, man, not a lot of fireworks. As we said in the intro, it was more like fire drills. The Sandlots, man. The one thing that kind of okay, so let's go back and review the keys of the game. So the keys of the game for this week was going to be the defense, right? That was the first key. The second key, I believe, was just getting the bats going and putting the ball in play, forcing the Yotes to make plays. And then again, I believe the last one was just availability. Similar to the week before, maybe a different order of importance, but the fact remains is those three keys, I don't know, they got lost somewhere. I think somebody left them back at work or at the house or something. The defense, man, had some old bugaboos, some gremlins creep back up. And one of those gremlins was allowing double-digit runs. The Sandlots have not allowed double-digit runs in, I believe, the past 3 games, if I'm not mistaken. And that was because they were playing solid defense, making good decisions with the ball, and just playing fundamental baseball. That was the biggest key, was just playing fundamental baseball all over the field, in the batter's box, in the field, on the mound, just being smart with the ball and not giving up unearned runs, uncontested runs, and starting the game off, it just looked like those gremlins had found the key to the dugout, got onto the field before we did, and just I don't know what they did. They jinxed us, I guess to say. They were just hanging out all over the field. So, a couple of questionable throws early in the game led to 2 scores in the first inning, I believe it was, if not just one. But, the pitching was it was I'm sorry, here we go. So Anthony Hare gets a start. Normally, Anthony is very good, just solid and dependable. Tonight, or Friday night, was just one of those nights where it wasn't there. And every pitcher has that, sometimes more than once in a season. It's a short season for us, so yeah, you can have a couple of those, or you could be on fire the whole season and just run the table. But so, anyways, I say that to say that Friday night was a tough one for anyone on the mound because the strike zone was like all over the place, and it seemed like what was shifted completely to the right. I guess if you were the catcher or the umpire, the whole zone just shifted. There was no calls on the inside part of the plate, unless it was just he was confused. There was a couple balls placed right on that inside paint. One was called a strike, the next a ball, and then a random strike. Same play, same pitch, and then maybe a strike called. I would say probably a good 6 inches to a foot to the right of the plate. Almost, yeah, pretty much inside the left-handed batter's box. Were being called strikes. Sometimes high balls, sometimes low balls, sometimes not. I don't know. It was crazy. It was trying to hit a moving target, and it just kind of felt like getting squeezed when you're trying to work a certain part of the plate. And, yeah, you got to work around that. But there was just there was really nothing to work around. And I don't know what to say. But it was frustrating. And so I'm sure it was frustrating for Anthony, even though he was throwing some really good pitches. They just weren't being called strikes, which forced us to kind of put the ball down the middle of the plate to get any kind of call. And when that happened, so did loud contact. And with the strike zone being as fluid as it was, that also led to untimely walks. And, man, when you put people on base, the Yotes and Stros, they're just going to smash the ball, and there's not going to be anything left. So one of those gremlins, that double-digit score, the walks, and then you can't really blame the umpire strike zone. We got to find a way to work around that and just make better pitches, try to figure out, where we're getting the calls. But, even after Anthony left the mound and I came in relief, I struggled with the same thing. There were some great pitches, put in great locations, and just not getting the call. And then there was ones that I missed outside that were called. But, you can't just kind of aim that far outside of the plate and hope to get that call. It's weird. It's weird. So did the best we could, and Tim Green came on in the late innings and actually did a really good job. He throws so hard that he can throw it right down the middle, and a lot of these guys aren't going to catch up with that. There were a couple of hard-hit balls, but nothing that led to like a flood of runs or anything. I don't even think he gave up any runs. If he did, it was some defensive miscues or something like that. But just a weird night on the mound, and led to some early runs. Now, here's the thing. So the Sandlots have, in their victories in the past couple of weeks, taken early leads and kind of gotten to a comfortable position, and then we're just able to hold the offense to minimal runs. So when you do that, your opportunities to go up exponentially. But falling behind early and just failing to capitalize or create any type of offense, that's a recipe for a loss. And that's what happened while we were cooking Wednesday night. We were cooking on cold burners. And man, let me tell you, the Yotes, they were aggressive. They capitalized on those walks. They got into fastball counts, and they just made a lot of loud contact, man, violent contact. It was more like an ambush than a baseball game, But enough with the negative. Amidst all this mess, there was one really bright, sizzling, shining Sandlot. And you heard me say his name earlier. We're going to acknowledge Jeff Nyberg, ladies and gents. Dude went 2 for 3, smoked an RBI double to right, and made an absolutely stellar run-saving catch in the outfield. Little snow cone catch. I had a great view of it over at third base. Jeff, on the run, reaches down, defies all old man odds and stretches out his back a little bit to get a little bit closer to the ground and snags the ground, man. It's a great catch. And haven't seen that too much from Jeff, but he showed that he still got it. And so for that, if we handed out gold stars, he'd get a whole pack. So player of the game, Jeff Nyberg, no contest. The lone spark in an otherwise smoky mess. But that's baseball. You take your lumps, you shout out your dogs, and you get back to the grind. Man, let me tell you. So that's pretty much. There was some other hard hit balls. Steve Garner, man, absolutely ripped one down the third baseline for a hit. But the hits were just sporadic. They were not strung together. There was not a lot of action on the base paths. And when there was, we did not capitalize on opportunities to bring those runners in. So all of that adds up to an L, and that's okay. The Sandlots fall to 4-5 and drop in the standings down to third place. But we'll talk about that later when we get into standings. For now, we're going to let you hear from Tire Service Center one more time, and we'll be right back. Hey guys, it's Friday game day. Man, but it is business hours right now, so I am at work, technically. But right now, I don't know if you can guess where I'm at by the noises. I'm at Tire Store Service Center, guys. Check this out. Nice, very nice location. They just redid the whole office and waiting area in here. So if you take a look at it, they're rocking and rolling today, man. Cars coming, going, people getting taken care of and getting out the door. That's what you like, man. You don't want to have to wait around for your car. If you do, it's a very nice waiting area on the inside. But look, lots of bays to work from. And you know what? I talked to Daniel, asked him what he could do for you guys in the league and anyone else that watches the podcast. And he did, man. He did say he wouldn't give me a number, but he did say he would take care of you on some tires, the Sandlots, and anybody in the league. Or if you just mentioned that you heard it on the podcast, you're going to get a good deal. All right, we're back with the Rap with Dez. And man, a little lighter news on a Monday morning. Let's maybe get you laughing with some Recall. If you've seen the movie. If not, spoiler alert, because we're going to talk about some of the stuff that happened in the movie. So if you don't want to know, pause this, go watch it, or, just come back whenever you can. So, man, look, playing in a 35 and up division, the demographic for, let's just say, movies. We've got a segment coming up here in the next couple of weeks, or maybe on Tap, probably on Tap. I know we were going to talk about it here, but maybe I'll take those and just go take it over to the Raz, and we'll talk about it there. But greatest sports movies, in our opinion. And you know what? I was thinking about this, and at its foundation, it's not a golf movie. The original Happy Gilmore, I wouldn't say it's a golf movie. It's not a technical golf movie. It's a comedy. It's you needed a vehicle, so the golf was the vehicle, and it's all cool. But it turned out to be a cult great. I mean, just if you grew up in that time when you probably anywhere from 18 to 25. Maybe even 30, when Happy Gilmore came out, man, and Adam Sandler was just on fire. Everything that he did was a hit. And so Happy Gilmore has gone down in movie history lore as in the sports genre. Not one of the greatest sports movies, but definitely one of the funniest. It's just in his style. So anyways, that was one of my favorite movies of my youth, and I was super over the moon excited when I found out that he was going to do a part 2. It took a while to get here. Didn't really, you see something on social media, on Facebook or something, you don't know if it's true or not. I mean, they put out so many meme trailers and movie posters, and none of it really, a lot of it never really comes to fruition. It's just, people being creative or whatnot. But this, fortunately, came to life, and I could not have been happier. So I got a notification on my phone the other day, because I guess I had set a reminder to remind me when this movie came out, and I got the reminder, and it was like Friday before the game. So I couldn't just sit down immediately and watch it. Had a game to play, and went to the game, came home, and I needed something to take my mind off the game. So I clicked on the TV, and saw that it was on, available for watching, and I just couldn't watch it that night. It was late. I wanted to really enjoy it, so I decided to wait for the next day. And man, I was pumped. I went in pumped. I was not going into this movie to critique it or to be like, oh, it's not like the original. I was just wanting to see what they had come up with, how they were going to continue the storyline, what happened. So anyways, yeah, so I was pumped. I came out grinning like Chubbs with a new hand. So did I know what I was expecting? Like I said, no, not really. I had no clue what to expect. I didn't know where they were going to go with it. I had only seen one trailer, and it was just in passing. And there were a couple of clips where I was kind of laughed. I was like, okay. But I didn't really get a feel of the overall movie. So did I think it would live up to the original? Honestly, like I said, I knew it would be filled with cameos, and probably a lot of product placement, just as a jab at the old one where he did the Subway and all of that stuff. But I wasn't wrong. I just didn't give it enough. I just given enough thought So, but let me tell you what, man, this Sandler delivered, and not just on nostalgia. Although there were a ton of cameos, he loves putting his boys in there. Steve Buscemi. I'm trying to think of who else was in it. I know that there were a lot of people in there, but they were fun, just like Easter eggs for the real fans of the franchise. And yeah, you can call it a franchise now because there's two of them. I really hope, and just before I even get to it, I just hope they don't do a third one, because this felt like a culmination of everything. They brought back all of, not all of the old characters. A lot of them have passed away, and I like how they gave tribute to those. Just by there being a fight in a graveyard, and all these people's who have passed away in real life and no longer available to do the movie had their headstones, just put on display while they're having this fight. I thought that was a really fun and creative way to give tribute to those people. And yeah, like I said, it was fun, man. But the beginning of the movie, and here again, spoiler alert, but it really shocked me because I did not. I mean, of all the ways that Happy could have found his way out of golf, it was just crazy that he hit a stray shot and strikes his wife in the head, killing her. I mean, not that she was like the main character, but I mean, she played a pretty important part in the first one. So, not that she was completely taken out of the movie or anything like that. She did appear in his little happy place and giving him advice. Like she was a Star Wars Force ghost or something. But that was the same for like Chubbs and everybody else in the beginning that passed away. Abraham Lincoln, the alligator. So just kind of thinking, you know what I did not like, and I guess when a villain is just very unlikable, then he probably did a pretty good job as an actor with the part. And the guy that played the anti-hero here was just slimy. That's my word for it. He was just slimy, nasty, did not want anything to do with him. And the fact that his character had like horrible breath was just hilarious. I mean, it just made me hate him that much more. I could practically smell it every time he talked just by the reaction on people's faces or their bodily reaction when they kind of just like physically recoiled from out of his face or in the the realm of his breath. I thought that was great, but I really could not stand that guy from the look of him to the voice and to his character. Just great job on that villain, because I totally can't stand him. Very, very slimy. Man. Yeah. So okay. So there were some scenes, some shots that were obviously, at least to me, obvious AI bits, from making Sandler look younger to the actual course that they played on at the end, and the crowd and everything. I mean, if you just look at it, you could tell it's completely AI, and I hate that because it makes me feel like they think I'm stupid. Now, I don't know. Maybe that's just what they had to do for budget reasons or whatever, but I did not like it. I don't like any movie that uses AI, honestly. I watched a newer Indiana Jones movie recently where he was totally AI pretty much the whole movie, and it just felt cheap. It felt really cheap. You could just tell that it wasn't him, it was AI. And I mean, until it gets better to the point where you cannot tell at all, and other than just knowing, hey man, this person does not look like that now, until it gets better, it's just not going to sit comfortably with me. But, I did read some reviews afterwards that just totally blew it up, and it kind of treated it like they expected it to be some masterpiece. and not quite in the same genre. I don't know what they were expecting. Now, I felt like it was a little bit of a departure from the original in that the focus was on like kind of wrapping up all these loose ends, with Chubbs passing away in the first one, his son being in a position to help Happy, or Happy goes to him for help. Even the Shooter McGavin angle, I could tell you from the beginning, without even seeing anything, that just the way that these nostalgia movies have gone, that he wasn't going to end up being the bad guy. He was going to end up on Happy's side. If you go back and watch Cobra Kai, one of my favorite series on Netflix, going back as far as like the nostalgia thing, man, that I think I was more lit for that one than I was for this Happy Gilmore 2. So when that first came out, I binged that series, and it was kind of cool to see things come full circle for everyone. But it just seemed like that was that's the direction all of these reunion movies were going. Is that like all old enemies were now coming together to be friends and helpful, stuff like that. So it was only natural that that Shooter would end up being on Happy's side and helping him. When you have a new villain, I mean, what do you got to do? You got to bring it together, everyone else, onto the good guy's side and just kind of fight that villain. So although I knew that was coming and it wasn't a huge surprise, it was so fun to watch. It was, it's Shooter McGavin. Come on, man. The guy eats for breakfast. But I wasn't offended that it wasn't necessarily... who wanted a duplicate of the first one? I mean, where can you go with that? How could you have done it any different and still get everyone in there? I wasn't mad about that. I wasn't mad about all the cameos, and I really found it hilarious that there was more professional athletes in the movie than in the original. The team of old school guys, some of those were hilarious. Man, Scotty Scheffler, oh man. The acting on these guys wasn't great, but just to see them try to act and, the situations that Sandler put these guys in, that was great. It was great. They had some great one-liners, and it just it made it easy to accept and just kind of just sit back and watch this thing happen. So, despite being a slight detour from the original formula, it still works. It still works, and I think that for the time that we live in now, the year, the way the culture is now, this may not, just like the original, be a critically acclaimed film, but it will develop its own cult following and hold its own against the first, I believe, in the years to come. So, man, great movie. I had a great time watching it. So if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's still brand new on Netflix, and enjoy it, man. It's just it was fun to watch. All right, so I've got my W energy drink here this morning. I'm still trying to recover from Friday night. This body just does not recover like it used to. It usually takes me excuse me, the whole weekend to recover, and probably half of Monday. Once I get to work, start moving around, things start loosening up. And definitely with that heat outside, man, it's like a sauna. It just loosen you up, get all those pores opened up, sweating. Excuse me. Man, and so you can get tired, you can get dehydrated real fast, you can lose focus, on your task later in the afternoon, especially after you've a big lunch. You need something to pick you back up and get you focused, and so you can get your work done, get out of there at the end of the day feeling like you actually accomplished something. So if you're tired of swinging like it's your third cup of decaf, fuel up with some W Energy. It's clean, it's jitter-free, and it's loaded with focus. Perfect for athletes, gamers, or dads trying to survive Saturday errands. The wife leaves us alone sometimes with the kids, and we're in charge of everything and getting everybody here, there, grabbing things from here and there. And, man, that can be exhausting sometimes. Hats off to you moms. So if you need some W, pick up some today. Go to W.GG and use promo code Sandlots471 for a discount. And wake up your swing with W, the real MVP of energy. All right, lot heads, we are down to our final segment. And this is just going to be covering the standings and what's ahead in a quick way, because Wednesday morning, Wednesday we will get a little more into it as far as what's coming up down the backside, the back nine of the schedule. And we've talked about it before, but it only gets easier from here. And looking at the standings, the Yotes improved to 8-1. Man, they are just uncatchable at this point, it seems. And they're only going to get better because just like we do, we face the remaining schedule, which features multiple games against the Rangers, multiple games against the Bulldogs. And the Rangers improved to 4-1, and they sit at 500 right now, even. Sandlots drop into third place. Boo. Don't like being there. Doesn't feel good. 4-5 with a 4.44 win percentage. And then there's the Bulldogs at 1-6-1. You know, these guys, I can't see, man, I mean, looking at 1-6-1, and we've played these guys, and they're a tough team, man. And maybe they've just had some bad luck. Maybe they've had some availability issues. I'm not sure what it is. But this past Friday night, and hats off to the Rangers, they put up 17, but the Bulldogs put up an 11 spot, double-digit runs, and man, it must be their defense. I mean, if they're putting up that many runs, then the offense, you know, their opponent's offense has to put up more runs, and they did, 17. So how did they get there? Not sure, but maybe we'll get a little interview with Aaron Schuster, manager of the Bulldogs, here later on. Get some of his thoughts on what's eating the Bulldogs this season. But yeah, so the Rangers, they put up 17 and again a 17-11 win over the Bulldogs in a very high octane shootout, and that's a season high in runs, and a clear sign that the Bats woke up after we left the Rangers stunned last Friday. So they woke up their Bats. They went to Joe Boo and brought him some chicken and some rum, and man, those Bats woke up in a big way. Obviously. I have to assume that. But then I think in our last meeting with the Bulldogs, they had a lot of walks. And the defense wasn't the greatest. And you know what? Just like we struggled to to corral all of that and put together a W, it seems like maybe the Bulldogs are just having a little bit more tough time of that with the same issues, you know, putting guys on base and then suffering either from their opponent just putting good wood on the ball and driving in all those runs, or maybe even in combination with, you know, just some questionable defense. So hopefully they can get their stuff together. It doesn't look like it will happen this season, but we hope that they will, and that, you know, they will have there'll be even more of a logjam in the middle behind the Yotes, because nobody's catching those suckers right now. And yes, they are a nemesis. They are everyone's nemesis when you're 8-1. They are like the evil empire of the Fort Worth Men's Senior Baseball League. I was talking to Mikey the other night. He left a comment on my Facebook because I said that we lost to our nemesis, the Yotes. He's like, why are we always everyone's nemesis? Well, I mean, you become a nemesis when, you know, you're at the top of the leaderboard. You are a super tough play. But you know what? We know that we're capable of winning against you. But it just doesn't happen often. You know, it's like you don't ever want to lay down. You're always going to get up for the fight, but you keep getting knocked back down. And that's a nemesis, man. It's just like like a monkey on your back, and you just want to take that monkey, and we're not going to get into animal abuse here, but you want to get that monkey off your back. Anyhow. And so right now, yes, the Yotes are everyone's nemesis, and I hate to say it, but they're everyone's daddy right now. I even hate to admit that. So there's some credit to you guys, Yotes and Stros, if y'all are listening. Yes, you're a nemesis, but at this moment, you are everybody's padre. So, man. Anyways, again, it's hats off to all you guys. I love playing against you guys. Love competing week in, week out. But yeah, like I always say, between those white lines, man, it's all business. It's all business. So, all right, looking ahead, we've got some really high stakes matchups against the Rangers that could really swing the season. And you know what? We do have games against the Bulldogs as well, and they do scare me because they are able to put up some runs. If they put up 11 against the Rangers, man, yeah, that could be a problem. So, playoff positioning, bragging rights, and the chance to be the spoiler is all on the table for pretty much everyone here because Rangers Sandlots one game, or actually half a game apart, and with at least 3 head-to-head matches down the stretch. I'm not sure how many they're going to add to the end of the season to make up for rainouts, but one thing for sure, and it's really good news, is that we have no more games against the Yotes. Now, I say that, that's good news, but we can't wait to face them in the playoffs because regular season ball is regular season ball, and everybody knows that everything is amplified in the playoffs, and that means the underdog position and just coming out and taking somebody's wind. So hopefully, it continues to be a good stretch. A close race down the stretch, because while a good gap with some breathing room would be great, man, it makes for an exciting season. It's coming down to the wire between the Rangers and Sandlots. Not sure how the Bulldogs are going to fare down the stretch, but right now we are looking at those Rangers, and they've got a target on their back. We're coming for you. So, yeah, we are coming. We are coming. We're going to get some big bats back. We're getting Bruce Raspberry back from his Pirates of the Caribbean cruise. He's down there playing pirate. Probably waterlogged with rum or other imbibables. But he'll be back, and hopefully his tan will have been gone, because he looks like a bright orange Oompa Loompa right now. I saw some photos of him and his family. I hope they're having a great time. Looked like they were having a good time. We wish him the best, and we can't wait for him to get back. So, yeah. Great time with you guys this morning. It is Monday. It is time to get my regular day started. Get on this. Thank you for joining me this Monday morning. It is time for me to get back to my 9 to 5. It was great being with you guys this morning. Sorry I didn't have better news. Better luck this Friday. Speaking of, the Sandlots will take on the Bulldogs this Friday night, 7:30 p.m., Rockwood Park, Field 1. And Sandlots are going to be looking for another W. Hey, it should be nothing but W's down the stretch here. We're going to have some tough games, but I believe that the Sandlots can capitalize, and that's what we're going to be looking for. So there you have it. A rough Friday, a hopeful Monday morning, a killer performance from Nyberg, some unexpected cinematic joy, and a playoff race that's coming down to the wire. Thanks for hanging with me, Lotheads. Whether you're riding high or riding pine, this show has always got room on the bench for you. And you've been wrapped up. Thanks for listening. Catch us on YouTube, The Rap with Dez, Spotify, The Rap with Dez, Facebook at FW Sandlots and Instagram at FW Sandlots. And like, subscribe, follow, and share. We need more of you guys to be listening. Let's grow this thing. Thanks again for joining us. Y'all have a great day.